Hey, welcome in, everybody. We are here for the Michigan Postgame Live. Michigan wins it in impressive fashion in E.Lansing. 49-0. There's Jim Scarcelli on the screen. We're ready to say hi to him, get this Postgame Live show going. The former Wolverine. Scar, how are you?
Fired up, Denny. It don't get no better. 49 Goose at your rival. Paul Bunyan stays in Ann Arbor. I mean, I sound like a broken record. It's the same old thing. We win the game. We come out healthy. We secure the football. We play a bunch of guys. We keep getting reps. We kept our composure. I know Coach Harbaugh talked about that. When you play these guys, you got to keep your composure. We did a great job with that. But it was just an awesome deal. No turnovers. Everybody played. The only downside is these guys are getting to Ann Arbor so late. I'm sure they'll find a party or something going on because they got the next week off, and they need to have some fun in Ann Arbor tonight.
Yeah, it should be a great time. And they started the party early. They got it going early. Michigan, they take their first drive, and it was going to be an indication of what was going to happen all night. They went right down the field. Blake Corum ended up getting the touchdown run, but JJ on a 3rd and 14 hit AJ Barner. That was also something that was going to be there and a big part of this game, whether it was Colston Loveland, a pair of 22-yard touchdowns. Barner was excellent. JJ McCarthy, I don't know, he's played a lot of games where he's been impressive. I think this is the most impressive display of arm talent that and really just quarterbacking all over. I mean, the escaping, finding, just running the whole show, laser pinpoint accuracy. I mean, JJ, some of the throw Scar that he's making, he was putting some like Blackledge, like woo, whistling that one by the ear hole, man, making throws, throwing guys open. I mean, he's a special quarterback, and tonight, if you hadn't watched Michigan and just watched it, you're like, man, this guy, he's just a maestro back there. The way it's a team game and everything else, but having the quarterback to stir the drink and everything, JJ was fabulous.
Yeah, outstanding, man. That first drive doesn't happen with an average quarterback. He steps up, he gets outside the pocket, he makes things happen, he throws accurate balls. Denny, we win these next 4 games. I know I don't like to keep talking. I don't like to talk like in those terms, but why couldn't he be the Heisman? If we win these, he keeps doing what he's doing. And it's not much to ask a guy to just continue doing what you've been doing because he's going to be the difference. We saw that Penn State-Ohio State game. Our guy's better. Our defense, I like what I saw today from both of those teams because our quarterback's better. We're better in a lot of ways. JJ was outstanding, scrambling, stepping up in the pocket. We just become used to it. We've been spoiled with it now, and he had a couple reads. Maybe I thought maybe were questionable. Maybe 1 or 2 uncatchable balls, but for the most part, it could. We could have. There was more out there, but we'll take it. But to finish up with quarterbacks, it was good to see Tuttle in there, getting some work, getting some reps. He looked pretty good. Donegal got in there, made it happen. And then we finally got to see Orji, doing what he can do. So we played 4 of them, but the quarterback group was outstanding, led by your best player who's a humble team guy. And if he's a humble team guy, everybody else will fall in line.
Yeah, masterful on the first drive, great on the second drive, awesome on the third. I think you're talking about, we are looking at a Picasso or something by McCarthy. The 4th drive, it was a 3rd and 1. Him and Blake, he ended up keeping the ball and rolling out and trying to get it himself, and he was stopped. And, it looked like, as I watched it, I didn't rewind it. They talked about a better chance of Blake picking it up than JJ. But yeah, out of, I don't know how many, he only played 3 snaps in the second half, I think. Out of everything that he did there, you talk about, okay, 1 or 2 things weren't perfect, but everything else actually did seem pretty perfect from him out there. So that was fabulous. The defense, you put the goose egg up there. Michigan State, they go for it on the 4th and 2 on their second drive, and Michigan stuffed them. And there was the couple key third downs. Michigan defense comes up big. They have a number of turnovers. Sandra still has the huge pick six on the Spartans' first drive when they're going for it on a 4th and 7 in the third quarter to make it 35-0. Statement after statement, both sides of the ball, all three phases. The coaches and the players, I mean, they just went out there and they just, they played a 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah, it was a great overall effort. Our coaches called a great. If we want to finish up with some more offense, I think our play calling was outstanding. We didn't force the run game because I think Michigan State really, they said we're not going to let you hand the ball off to Corum. They're gonna really load up on our run game, and our coaches said, okay, we'll throw it a little more than normal. We had a few things different. We ran some motions with our tight ends. One of the first plays we cracked with Big Barner. We pulled our tackles. That was new for this game. We had success with it. But you got to take a close look, Denny, about the impact of JJ. When they're rushing the quarterback, they're really cautious. They're trying to mirror. They're not really getting upfield. In the RPO game with JJ helps our run game. I noticed that. We've seen it. But it slows down their ability to defend the run. But the first drive was just a beautiful thing. The second drive, then we come out throwing on first down. And like I said, they honor JJ on the RPO. And, Denny, we're throwing the ball to so many different receivers now. And it's good to see 89 in the mix as a target. And, Denny, I was at practice Tuesday. Maybe I'll talk about that Monday more in detail. But, when we got Barner in the game and we've got Big Loveland in the game, those are 2 6'5", 6'6", big athletic dudes, man. And they're matched up with safeties that are 5'10", maybe 5'11", 200 pounds. And it's like basketball, man, where it's like dumping it down to Hunter with the 5 foot, a 6'2" guy. I mean, and our coaches are taking advantage of it, and they know how to position their body, and you're seeing it with JJ's throwing it to the right spot. So our tight ends were outstanding, more involved with the pass game this week because that's what was happening. But Bredesen solid running, blocking, and doing what we ask him to do. But I like the empty set with 89 and 18. Matchup problems for the secondary. Running back play, Corum was good. We got him going. He didn't break anything crazy in there, but he'll get you the extra yard, Denny, when plays aren't blocked. And that's the thing. If I'm a defensive player for Michigan, and Corum is going to keep those first downs going. He's going to keep the ball moving. We found Donovan. We found him in there a little bit on the run game, but we threw a bubble screen to him early, did some things. They're finding ways to get Donovan involved. The penalty at the end of the second, that was one of the, I'm sure Coach Harbaugh had to be furious because that drive was awesome at the end of the first half. We took it right down there. We scored with 8 seconds, whatever the heck it was.
Well, there was 8 seconds. Let me ask you I got 2 questions for you. One of them is about the end of the game, which I'll save for the second question. But at the end of the half there, they were going to score a touchdown. Michigan would have been up 35-0, but they said, Edwards, wasn't set. And people are like, well, what about if somebody was in motion? I mean, he didn't look like he was set.
You can't move forward. Yeah. Okay. Well,
it was close. I mean, it was close, and you can't challenge that. There's no replay to it. But there was also some thought, like, since it was a procedure call, why would they have a 10-second runoff? Wouldn't it be 13 seconds? I was watching it thinking, okay, there was 8 seconds, so it's from the end of the play. So I thought they actually called that right. But, Michigan Twitter, people were like, no, the ref screwed that up. And obviously Harbaugh was, talking with the ref. So maybe that's what he was talking about. He could have been talking about, no, Donovan was set for a second, and maybe in his eyes. How did you see that, Scar?
There's no reason for him to be moving. I mean, get set. There's no reason for him to be moving.
But you
he's not at the line of scrimmage blocking anybody. I mean, you're the last guy that needs to be messing around They go over that multiple. They work on that in practice. So he screwed it up. And
all right. How about at the end of the game, Scar? Now Michigan scores with 8 seconds to go. Hey, stop them. And I think that it's in a rivalry game like this. Michigan State. You're not taking a knee on Michigan State. You're taking it in and scoring a touchdown. I don't think any there's not one Michigan fan out there. I don't even think a Michigan State fan's thinking, that they would take a knee. But what about Mark saying go for 2? And I'll say this, and I don't know if I'm right or not, Scar, but I was watching the Ohio State Penn State game today, and they honored the 1968 Ohio State team. Did you see the guys out there?
Yeah.
Well, Jack Tatum, the against O.J. Simpson, they beat him in the Rose Bowl. They're saying that Gus Johnson during the game, but the Michigan game at the end of the year, Ohio State beat Michigan 50-14, and I think Ohio State went for 2 at the end.
They did. They asked Woody.
They asked Woody what? Why did you go for 2? And what did he say?
He said, because I couldn't go for 3.
Okay, so all right, now Scar, what about Mark's question here? Go ahead.
Well, man, I don't know. This is an interim coach. If you got bad blood with people, I understand it. I've been there as a coach. I'm glad that Jim didn't shut it down, that he let those guys score. He said, let's run our offense. These young guys, they want to play. I'm not going to put these guys in to take a knee. That used to bother me as a coach, is that, you get in that situation, you got your young guys, you want to get them some work, and now you're by football etiquette, you're up 35-42, you're supposed to take a knee. The heck with that. I'm glad Jim let them guys run the offense, get work, get reps. They can coach out the things they did, and taking a knee. And really, if I'm Harlan Barnett, I'm actually okay with that too. I get work. My young guys got work defending something, So, but listen, let me finish up with the offense. The offensive line, the run game was not, because they were really overloading on it. There was enough of a threat, but solid play by all of them. Henderson is getting better. Henderson's getting better. Just really solid play overall with our offensive line. I thought Sharon
and pass protection looked pretty good too at times for JJ back there. He had to avoid some guys, but
Denny, and that's the thing our guys do is, you got to latch on, get your guy and latch on, because if there's a seam, JJ will find it, and that's what happened. He'll get outside the defense on pass. He'll step up in the pocket if they overrush. So, but Denny, one of the big things that was so important for this football game that I was concerned with all week, because we haven't played on grass yet, and it was that we had a dry track, because there was a chance for rain. Dry track was important, and if there's anything watching this football game, we understand the importance of having a quarterback that can run. So that was huge. We had a few new things for them that we hadn't done, a few new motions and shifts. Hopefully I'll be able to show some of that Monday, but we saved a few things for the Spartans. What else do I have here? I think sometimes, Blackledge was ripping on JJ that he made a bad call, but I think sometimes they might just predetermine some JJ when they want him to keep it on some of those runs, some of the RPO runs. I think the coaches might tell him to just predetermine it and keep it. And one time the Spartans defended it.
Yeah, on the first drive that they didn't score a touchdown, the third and one you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah. And I think our coaches did a good job offensively is sizing up what they were doing, because we hit them. They run a lot of two deep, and some of the I know one of the touchdowns with Loveland, and maybe a couple of them, was we took advantage of their two deep coverage, because the weakness of the 2D coverage is always has always been tight ends right down the middle, and our coaches saw it, sized it up. And so, it was an overall good effort, coaches and players offensively.
Yeah, I'd like to emphasize, the throws that JJ made, in particular to the tight ends for the touchdowns. Like, he's putting the ball on those guys, and you see, whether you're going to say next level, just that's the way you play quarterback. That's when you're looking at somebody. he's special. He's whistling that ball in there. The one I think Barner, he threw it before his cut. He turned around. He boxed him out. Loveland's an awesome player too. I mean, so you got plus players at both positions there. And when you have that, and you have the quarterback that's delivering the ball, it looks easy. It's not easy, going out there, running the route, getting the protection and everything else. But when they're putting on, there's no even defense for that. They called it on the broadcast. They're like, hey, the defender was in a pretty good spot there. There's nothing you can do. And that's it. When you're putting the ball, and even the one that I think it was Tyler Morris dropped, it was over the middle. There was a couple throws in there. You think, wow, is JJ should even be making that throw? You look at the end zone shot, and he's putting it between two guys, almost like as about as catchable as you could. Morris, putting it right on the numbers, and he dropped it. I mean, that might have been his best throw all through this. And I've seen it now from JJ from a couple of games. He's special where he can stand in the pocket and he can deliver the football like a pro quarterback, where his feet are planted firmly in the ground and he's firing it down the field like a professional quarterback. Meanwhile, he can also throw on the move, and he keeps his head up down the field, all the stuff going around him, and he is able to maneuver around in the pocket and still be able to throw on the move. And then he's people want to say, like, well, is he a better runner than Caleb Williams or Bo Nix? He's as good as them. I mean, he's dangerous. He's fast. He's big. He's tough. He can run the ball as good. Like we've talked about. And, tonight he was around there, breaking one off. I don't know if those guys all lined up, who would be the fastest, but JJ's got moves, and, he can do it all. He's the complete quarterback, and, he's special.
Yeah. There's no question, Denny. And I'm going to talk about, you talked about him putting them balls in the right spots, but something I think our coaches did is we found number 12 on their defense, because number 12 was covering either 89 or 18. And I think we found wherever he was, that's the tight end we were going to. That's just some little thing I think I noticed that's coaching. And because I think we had a good matchup there with our big tight ends against those below average size secondary guys. Let's talk quickly about defense. I thought we did a great job adjusting. This game always is the game I thought we'd see a lot of different stuff. I thought we'd see a ton of quarterback run. I was worried about quarterback run, and they didn't have much success with it. But, Denny, I always start out with, what's going on with our two inside guys. And right away I found, they weren't moving those two guys. And same thing on the other side of the ball. We were moving their guys, and they weren't moving our inside guys. So it started there with Jenkins and Graham and anybody, big Kenny Grant in there. We were solid in there. We did a great job adjusting, because they did a couple of things we hadn't seen, but we did a great job. Now, like I said, I was at practice Tuesday, and I was watching Coach Elston. What a great coach! And he was working on their stretch play, and that's one of their best plays. Their zone, their outside zone, and he was working on it. I saw the techniques he was working on, and man, our guys were just playing it to a T. It was just same way he was teaching it, and our players were executing it just like he talked about, and they were doing the same things he talked about. And we took that play away. We took their run game away. You got a freshman quarterback in there, make him beat you. So we took their run game away. I thought we'd see more quarterback run. That was for whatever reason they didn't really run it. What else do I have? But Michigan State's quarterback problems, Denny. I thought maybe this kid looked pretty good against Rutgers, but they haven't settled on their quarterback issues. They had the one kid first 3 games, and then they got a different guy. So, that's a problem with them. But, that Carter kid, Denny, I think that Carter kid is a tough running back. I thought he was tough when we faced him at UConn last year. But I know I threw
Yeah,
some
I thought
stuff.
he was pretty good. I thought for Michigan State, Bruley, I think he's a linebacker. He stood out to me. He looked pretty good. I liked how Michigan, there was a little bit, because last year with the tunnel incident, there's a lot of people that wanted revenge. A lot of people said, hey, we wanted 70-0. And we just keep scoring again. 49-0. Hey, maybe they should have gone for 2. All of that. I mean, this was convincing, resounding. You got the starters out, played a bunch of people. You said it. Look like, Michigan came out of the game. We'll find out, but looked like they came out of the game healthy. And the guy that took the brunt of the attack in the tunnel last year was Jaden McBurrows, and he got the interception at the end of the game. So,
I didn't even make that. I forgot about that. But yeah, that was good to see him getting some things going in there. I took a good look at our rotation on defense. And, Denny, as a former guy who played, I see what they're doing. It's probably not more than 5 plays in a row a front defensive player for us will be in the game. So when you're in the game and they make a first down, okay, you got to regroup. Okay, now when they've made a second first down, maybe now you're in there 6, 8 plays, you're breathing a little bit. And, in my day, you were in there, you weren't coming out. And you see why they play so hard. You see why they play so fresh, because we're smart with our rotations. We develop depth. But we took away their best stuff, man. Just all the things I listened to Coach Ellison talk about. We took it away: the zone, the power, the QB run. You take away their best stuff, and you adjust the things. And let me talk about our linebackers, because man, I watch our linebackers. You play linebacker at Michigan, you better be a smart guy, because we asked those guys to do a whole bunch of stuff. One time they're coming off the edge and they're blitzing. One time they're blitzing inside. One time they're covering tight ends. They're covering backs. They're covering curls. We ask our linebackers to do a lot, and all 3 of those guys played a lot. Oh, and Denny, you know what? Rolder is getting redshirted, I believe, because we haven't seen him play. I thought maybe he was hurt. I didn't know what was going on with him, but he actually played tonight. So I found out, I believe I don't know if they want to make it public, but he's getting redshirted. He played in the game tonight. But our linebackers were outstanding. We asked him to do a ton of stuff, and you got to be smart to play linebacker at Michigan. Edge play was good. We had good pressure. Moore had a sack in there. McGregor did some things. McGregor irritated that one kid, made him respond. Isaiah Stewart had a pressure. They had to hold Moore one time. That was big early in the game. End up having to punt. But good edge play, good inside D-line play, because they couldn't get nothing going. They had no movement on our inside defensive players. 99, strong again, the big fella in there making plays. Oh, you know what else they did, Denny? I saw him line up Mason Graham on the edge, which is new. We haven't seen that. So it was a passing situation, and they had him on the edge, and they had Harrell lined up like a 3 technique. So, that's coaches are giving those guys a chance to mix up their alignments and see what they can do from different positions.
Mark talking about, Barnett was classy, not kicking the field goal on the 4th and 15. Well, that was at the Michigan 34. So you're talking about 39. That's close to a 50-yard field goal. So, I mean, that's not a gimme 3. A Parachek, shout out to Dexter. He was a Dexter kid, his freshman, who went to Michigan State, almost got the first down there. So, whether you say that was classy, whether he was thinking about it, I don't like coaches kicking field goals at the end of the game when they're down 42-0.
Denny, let me just talk about that going for 2 stuff. Listen, Jim is, and our coaches, we're teaching these kids a lot about more than just football. So obviously you want to be, you're competitive guys, you want to win this, that, or whatever, but you got to teach them how to win with class, and then you got to teach them what happens after you lose and how to handle it. And that's part of leadership. That's part of coaching. So I'm satisfied the way we handled tonight's game. I don't see, Woody Hayes went for 2, but again, I just think about it from my perspective, and I think, Jim's pretty similar. Is, hey, we're trying to teach these guys life lessons, and there's is going for two needed. Is that helping that kid? What?
Yeah, I don't think they should have gone for two either, Scar. It is one of those things where you look at it and you think about 1968, and fans always want more points and more scores. They're not thinking about, hey, let's work some. They just scored a touchdown, so whatever. It's okay. I think what you're saying is correct. At the end of the game was over after one quarter, even though it was 14-0. It was Michigan scored on the first three drives, but they looked like. You could see we knew they were the better team, and then they played like the better team, and then it looked like it was over really quick, and it was over really quick. And 339 yards to 51 in the first half. I mean, it was pretty much over there. We've got Scott, who's saying the best quarterback in the country has played one series in the fourth quarter all year. The defense, he has giving up 5.8 per game. Michigan is rolling into the bye en route to Houston like a video game. Let's go. Scar, do you know what he means by Houston?
I imagine that's where the national championship is this year.
Correct. One of the semifinals is out of the Rose Bowl, so that would be nice too. So you start thinking about these things. I mean, we watched Penn State and Ohio State play today, and Michigan has the better quarterback, and they look like they can play with either of those teams. So you come out of today and tonight, you're feeling pretty good anyways about Michigan. I mean, you feel, I think, better about them where they're at right now.
Yeah, it was just so many good things. We saw Amarian get in there and get some work. Number one had a little deflection in there. I had it on my notes. Michigan State's all these dumb penalties. Michigan, none. And then the fourth quarter came. We got all the all them young guys went in there and screwed around. We had all these dumb penalties. So that's good for the coaches will be able to get on these guys, and you wonder why you don't play. This is why you don't play. I used to do that as a coach. You got to tell them why they're not playing. They want to complain and whine and come in the office. Okay, well, see all these penalties. But what else do I have here? Yeah, it's just really comfortable knowing that on a first down that we're able to, we got them out of, we took away their run early on, and they knew early on they weren't gonna run the football on us.
Well, let me throw some quick hitters at you, Scar. Michigan heads into the bye week now, and then it is November. And November is where championships are made traditionally in college football and the Big Ten. Michigan even has, their eyes on bigger prizes this year, but we've already talked about it a little bit, but both Penn State and Ohio State played today. So we know that lies ahead, but, how do you feel about Michigan heading into the bye? And then with 4 games remaining, another night game again on NBC. It'll be Purdue coming up in 2 weeks, and then at Penn State, at Maryland, and Ohio State. I mean, how are you looking at these 4 games for a Big Ten championship?
Yeah, we get the bye week, and I'd rather be honest with you. I'd rather not have a bye week because everything is good. Everybody's healthy. The momentum's good. I'm glad we're playing Purdue and not Penn State after the bye week. I mean, it's just you just don't know. I just think our team, the rhythm, the routine. But Jim will have them ready. He has. I think we've done pretty good after bye weeks. You got to be smart with it. You got to rest guys, but also you got to get them sharp so they'll have a little scrimmage in there at one point. But I feel real good about it. You got to get Purdue beat the heck out of Illinois. They've shown some good things. Guy's a good defensive coach. He gave us trouble when he was at Illinois, so we'll have to get ready for that. And Penn State, man, Danny, those 2 teams, their front sevens are good. Penn State, Ohio State, on both sides of the ball. Penn State's a rugged, tough defense. And we'll get into that. But yeah, coaches got to be great. Players got to make plays, and there's a couple positions we're better at. But I'm glad OSU won. We don't want to. We want OSU to win because we got Penn State is probably going to be a tougher deal than the Buckeyes at home. I said it would be low scoring. I should have put a ton of money on that game that it would be low scoring. There were a lot of recruits at that game tonight in E.Lansing too, Denny. Michigan State had a lot of recruits up there, and that was good. They got to see. Hey, I don't know how many of those guys Michigan's recruiting, but I heard there were a ton of them up there, and so that's all good when we hang 49 on them.
Yeah, a couple of things that will be talked about a lot during the bye week. One, I thought myself that if Jim Harbaugh was going to sign a contract extension, that he would do it tomorrow to kick off the bye week. Doing it during a game week when he's focused on everything. He's focused on what's up next day. He actually does have a couple days where it's not all game week. He can take a breath. This seemed like the perfect time. And yet, what happened on Thursday with the allegations of the sign stealing. So now that is put into the mix. I don't know how that is going to affect if there was the potential to get a contract signed. So if there's something there, and then there's also, we have to at least get a thought or two from you on how do you think, Michigan proceeds, how this, any thoughts on this? I mean, there's a million directions you can go when it comes down to the allegations. How do you think?
Denny, I'm going to come strong Monday. I'm going to come real strong, and I'm going to break down all of the things, all of the angles on it. But my terminology is we decoded their signals. Okay. And there's three different paths on this thing. Okay. Did Jim purposely send a guy there to videotape, which I don't believe he did. I'm hoping the heck he didn't. That's option one. And Greg Schiano was upset that we whooped him, and he thought so option one is that we did it unethically and we sent a guy there to videotape their coaches. Option two is that we were smarter than him and smarter than a lot of people. Jim hired a Marine guy that broke down televised games that were legally allowed to watch, and we did a better job of it than you. And you were so upset that, you had your signals decoded, because I'm not using that term stolen, because let me tell you something. There's a lot of things that go on in football. I'm going to read your line splits to determine your play. I'm going to read the cheat of the back. I played guys that had their quarterback stand a certain way, Danny. Unbelievable. Their quarterback stood in the shotgun with his feet parallel. It was 100% run. When the feet were cocked, it was 100% pass. Is it illegal to look at those things because you're too stupid? Or because we decoded your signals, coach? That's your problem. So I'm going to say you're stupid whiner that we decoded your signals based on what we saw on television. Now, I was going to save a lot of that for Monday, but that's option two. Okay, option two is, one is we did it legal, we cheated. Option two is we did it within the rules. And option three, now here's option three, Denny, is it just because we whooped you, you want to throw some chaos out there? Denny, I'm a big Art of War guy. I've talked about that. Okay. And one of the chapters in the Art of War is to create chaos within your enemy's camp. How do you create chaos with your enemy? Well, you throw out some stuff like this, because now that's what they're talking about. Okay. So if that's what Schiano wanted to accomplish, he's got his feelings hurt that we whooped him. He couldn't figure out how we decoded his lack of protection of his football team, and now he wants to whine about it and say we cheated. So there's three options there, Denny. Either we cheated, or we're just better at taking what's allowed than the enemy, or the third option is he's just whining and trying to create some chaos because we're the number one team in the country.
Yeah, and all of those things, it's well thought out and presented there. I wonder, with the NCAA, it appears that all top 25 teams are doing some level of scouting the opponent in person, and but they're not sending their coaches. So, if you go to a game and you came back and you were like, hey, I went to the Penn State Ohio State game, are you then an extension of scouting in person? It gets a little, what are we talking about here? But it's how the NCAA is going to view it. And they are going to be able to look at that computer that Stallions had. And if there were whoever it was, if they were going to these games and they have some video and it's in the Michigan computer, well, I think that they're going to, violate a bylaw. So
I totally agree with you. That's why I said there's three.
Well, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Right. That's the one. And it appears that it doesn't matter whether this Stallions was a lone wolf and, was onto something. And then he said, hey, I'm going to try to, I'm going to run an end around myself. You can end up screwing the team by, some of your actions. And so it really doesn't matter if Harbaugh knew or not, it appears. So, there's that part, but the NCAA being involved in it and butting heads with Harbaugh. Now, look, maybe Jim, now looking back, with these mild secondary violations that got trumped up to level ones because he told the NCAA to go stick it. Probably not a good idea because if they go looking for something, they could find something. And that seems like to me, this is that kind of situation where, oh, hey, we got something on Michigan. Let's do everything we can. So I don't know, a lot to play out here.
Yeah, we'll see what they come up with, Denny, and I hope they got proof.
They come up with that.
I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to end on this with this
right.
garbage. I don't like talking about it, but the guy who's whining, the idiot that let us decode his signals. Okay, and at the end of the day, if there's nothing there, that guy should be exposed, and that guy should be penalized for just throwing out some stuff out there. Okay, and dragging Michigan through the dirt. Let's get the proof, man. Let's get the proof. And why do we even know about it? The NCAA should keep that stuff hush hush, and then somebody leaked it out here, and then if there's nothing to it, the damage is already done. So we're gonna find out. I want to see some proof. I got faith in Harbaugh. That's all I'm saying. I'm fired up. We're 8-0. And just want to throw this other little afterthought out, Denny. 40 years ago, I was on that bus coming back from East-Lansing. We hung 42-0 on them. I thought it was going to be another 42-0 game, and it was 49-goose. But I'll talk about that garbage on Monday, okay?
Scar, what were you doing 40 years ago when you got back to Ann Arbor at 1 o'clock in the morning? You going to bed?
We weren't playing at night, man. We whooped them in the afternoon. We got home. We had time to celebrate. That's why I wish these guys,
what do you think these guys are going to do? I mean,
I'm telling you, I guarantee you they're not going to the library. They're not going to the library. They're going to find
house parties. I mean, the restaurants and bars close at 2, but I mean, there's a house parties. Those
something, man.
No, you can keep going, and Sunday, you've got a day or two off here to relax, right?
Something, man. Get a milkshake, get a root beer, go find a pretty girl, have a good time, man. They deserve it.
Yeah. You say, hey, we're 8-0. And they say, how'd you play tonight? Yeah, we went 49-0.
That's right.
Morrissey got a touchdown. McBurrow's got a pick. The Michigan played great. So things are looking good for the Maize and Blue. All right, Scar.
Danny, listen, Monday I'll talk about the practice. I'll hit on my thoughts more on this decoding of the idiot's simplistic system.
Right.
And where we stand, baby. And we'll break the film down, but it's all good. I don't know, were there any other questions you wanted to hit on there?
Oh, well, I'll see if anybody has any questions sitting here. I was going to give you my final thoughts, and I was going to let you say one last thing. People are watching other games and putting it up there, which is all great and everything. I would just say in this game right here that I was expecting Michigan State to keep this one close at the half. So I was, wrong about how I thought this one was going to go. But, watching Michigan right now, I think people know this, but sometimes just saying what is right in front of you, the obvious stuff, it's where I'm at. You're like, this is a special team. This is a group that looks like they're on a mission. This is a team that comes out and is playing fabulous. This is a team, how do you win championships, well, you have to have the team and you have to have the coaching. They have all that, and you need the special players. McCarthy is doing things each and every week that I watch him, despite the competition or whatever, where he just looks fabulous. And you see it, you watch him so much football, when you're seeing something that is special. And what number 9, he is really something special. And 18, and you were talking about the tight ends, Scar, before they even played this season. You went to a practice, you said, these tight ends, and I'm thinking, Scar was, if he wasn't an edge player, outside linebacker, he'd have been a tight end. Maybe he's just, this is his position. But you couldn't have been any more right about that. Loveland's special. Barner is, he hasn't come out of nowhere, but the transfer portal has been great for Michigan. I mean, all through, you break down this tape, Houseman had a big play on a 3rd or 4th down. The Stewart is in there making a play on a sack. You had Tuttle coming in. He's quarterback too. You have Barner and what he's doing. The left tackle's a transfer portal guy. So is the center. They hit the jackpot and came up aces when it was through the jackpot. This team has the look of a champion. So they're heading into the bye week. That kind of talk is right out in front. They know it. Everyone knows it. And, that's the goal for them. And they look like they can achieve it to me.
Danny, you hit it all, man. And you're getting better, man. You're talking about defense a little bit here, too. I like hearing you because you sound like a lot of typical people out, JJ and offense. Hey, baby, there's a goose egg sitting up there, too. I think you got to don't forget about that big goose egg up there. I don't know how much JJ had to do with that goose egg, but there's a lot of good stuff. We're fired up. We're confident, and we got the right leader, and we're going to get through all this dirt. And when you're on top, everyone's taking shots at you, and we'll get that bye week, and we keep rolling. Go Blue. Tune in Monday. Have some good film breakdown.
Circle the wagon, Scar. There it is. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button. We love the reviews, and we like those 5 stars. We like the 5-star recruits, and we like the 5 stars on the podcast. We will see you